Okay everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is good to see you all again. We're about to do a new video, a video on the Ford Maverick. So first of all, in the background you probably see the grill going. Well, I'm multitasking today, so I've got some baby back ribs on the griddle and I'm going to smoke those, and we're going to also do the first oil change on the Maverick. So guys, doing the oil change on the Maverick is going to either make me look like a genius or a complete idiot. I will say this: the XLT 2-liter two-wheel drive does not have the metal plates that some of my other fellow YouTubers had to remove on their Maverick in order to get to the oil pan bolt and also the oil filter. This just has a traditional composite type mat that's under there. And why am I doing an oil change? First of all, 1,000 miles I always do an oil change to get any particles out of the engine that could have been there during the assembly process. So I've always done that. It's nothing new. Secondly, I actually paid for oil changes for this vehicle, so this will be probably the only oil change that I do myself, but we will see how hard it actually is. I am kind of biased about doing my own oil change because I've always done my own, and I trust myself as more so than I do having someone else do it. So let's get busy and get under the truck. Okay guys, we are climbing under the truck to undo all of the cover bolts. These are Torx head. Don't ask me what size they are, I'll put them in the description, but I'm actually using a SAE Torx bit that I have just because it does work, and I've used it on my wife's Escape many times, so this will be no different. We're kind of try to see how quickly we can do this or how long it's going to take us. Either way, my loss is your gain. So let's get this cover undone. Whatsoever, the oil filter is loose and it is now draining the oil out. It's a 15mm bolt on the drain plug, and as soon as I get this oil filter the rest of the way off, we'll tackle that one. Oil is cold. Started out in the 20s this morning, it's going up to 60 degrees today, and would you believe it, on Christmas Day here in Virginia tomorrow it's supposed to be 70 degrees. I'm not mad about that. So let's let this rest of this oil drain out. It's amazing how much oil is actually draining out where the filter was. I don't see anything that looks suspect. Everything looks good so far. All right, let me wipe that little area off. And I am not installing a standard Ford filter. I will be using the Ford oil. But I will actually be using a Fram oil filter. I always use Fram filters, just my personal preference. Don't tell me that there's something wrong with Fram oil filters or you don't like Fram or whatever. That's up to you. And like I said, I will be taking this in and letting them do the oil changes from here out, should I so desire. I did pay for it, although there is the lack of comfort factor that I have because I just simply like doing my own work. I don't trust a lot of people to work on my vehicles because they usually put the oil filters on too tight and then we end up with a mess. So, oil filter's about drained out. So we're gonna sit that over here to the side. And this being a conventional style oil pan setup, I may just go ahead and get my regular oil drain pan, simply because I drained it into there and it also has the ability for me to empty it out better than putting it in this drain pan. I don't like to use that. I just try to use that if I know I'm going to make a mess. I don't want an oil spout on my driveway. So let me go get my other oil pan, and then we'll take the drain plug out. I did have a nightmare experience for all of you guys who may happen to follow the channel, watching videos about the Mach 1. And we found out the hard way, draining the oil out of the Mach 1. It has one of those new plastic drain plugs, and the oil went all over my garage floor. So I was a little traumatized from that, but it's okay. We're back to the traditional oil pan setup. Now I do have this vehicle on a jack. There's also a jack stand. Do not get up under a car without a jack stand, even though you have a rolling floor jack. And it's as simple as that. It's always good to have the proper tools to do any job. I'm gonna see if I can't line this pan up with the oil that's about to shoot out of there, so we don't have a mess on my driveway. Perfect. What do you know? Carl is doing his thing today. Oil seems like it comes out kind of slow. Okay guys, we're about 17 minutes into this oil change, and the thing that's slowing us down is just the oil coming out, because this is not a hard job on this particular model. We still got to get the rest of the oil out, cap it off, put the rest of the oil in, put the pan back underneath. So let's get busy. Okay guys, all we have to do now is to reinstall the drain plug, put the pan back on. Oops. Oh shoot. The O-ringy thingy just fell out of there. Into the oil pan. Okay guys, I had to come out of my jacket because it got warm out here. It's probably about 60 degrees out here now, and I'm digging this. So let's get the oil back in and call it a day. A little bit of drama, but literally you could do this in about 30 minutes in your driveway if you take the precautions and don't do some of the things that I did, and do some of the things that I actually did right. So let's get the oil in it. Now, I saw someone online, not going to call any YouTube names, putting 5W 20 in their Maverick, but it clearly says on here that you are to use can you see it? It says 5W30. So that's exactly what we're going to use. Just for the sake of knowing, my Mustang Mach 1 also uses 5W30. I know Ford for a long time did use 5W20, but maybe it's on some of these more powerful engines. Who knows? But we always go by what the manufacturer recommends, and that's what we're going to do. I would prefer to have used a full synthetic Mobil 1 is what I normally would use in my vehicles. But for the sake of doing the first oil change so you guys can see what we're doing, I'm using the 5W30 Motorcraft semi-synthetic, just like everybody else does. Oops, yet another mistake. I never make these mistakes when I'm not trying to film. So yeah, I just poured some oil on the engine. So in case you guys thought I was Superman and I never make a mistake, now you have evidence that I can do something stupid like anybody else. And I literally am not telling you a lie when I can tell you and say I haven't wasted oil on an engine like that since I was probably 15 or 16 years old, doing my first oil change in auto mechanics class. And by the way, I do come from an automotive background, in case you were wondering. And some of these things, some of you guys are not going to be comfortable doing. And I'm going to blame it on filming, because I've never done that in a very long time anyway. So let's get the rest of the oil in before I do something else stupid. And according to the specifications, this takes 5.5 quarts of oil. And that's exactly what we're going to put in. Okay guys, one of the things I always promise you guys to be transparent. The oil change would have been completely seamless had it not been for a couple of stupid things that I did. One, the O-ring that fits around the drain plug fell into the drain pan, so I had to use a little handy dandy tool I have for grasping stuff out of your reach and retrieve the O-ring out of the drain pan, which didn't take long, but it just did what I didn't want it to do and make me look stupid, like I don't know what I'm doing. When you do stuff on camera, that tends to happen. And then I moved the funnel, trying to get cute, putting the oil in, and wasted some oil on top of the engine, which is not a huge deal. But if you look at the top of your engine when you get your Maverick, you'll notice that it has lots of crevices and cracks on the top valve cover, which took me probably about 15 minutes just to wipe all of the little bit of oil that wasted on top. But that being said, it wasn't a bad job. Those of you all who have the 2-liter XLT, fear not. You have a regular composite pan under there. There are 15 fasteners that you have to take off, and then basically you push it towards the front, pop it down the back, and then slide the whole thing back, and it pops right off. Not hard to get off or hard to reinstall. So that being said, that's the video for today. The 1,000-mile oil change on the Maverick. See you back on the next video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.